Toronto. We've got a fantastic view behind us as the CN Tower. And today we've been in Toronto because I did an interview with Evan Carmichael. And for those of you that haven't heard about him, he's one of the biggest social influencers, particularly on YouTube, and he's building his audience on Instagram. And he helps entrepreneurs grow their business, and he helps entrepreneurs with all sorts of inspiration and motivation. So check out the interview that we did with him that's about to follow. He really digs down on some really important things that you can use in your business to do with the way he handles his to-do list, things about accountability. So I'd love to hear from you about any comments that you want to share regarding the interview. Enjoy. Cheers.
Me or him?
Perfect, yeah.
Good?
Yeah, good.
All right, we're
Excellent,
here.
brilliant. So I've got the pleasure of having a chat with Mr. Evan Carmichael today. So Evan, thanks so much for meeting up with us here in Toronto on our whistle stop tour of New York and Canada. The thing that I'm really intrigued about is entrepreneurial journeys, and obviously you've had a fascinating journey starting your entrepreneurial career very young. Mm-hmm. What I'd love to know about is what was your home life like and when you were a young man, and what were your parents like? Were they entrepreneurial?
So I'll go over it, and if there's something you want to dive deeper in, let me know. Growing up, my parents were not entrepreneurs. My dad worked for the government forever. Eventually left and joined a consulting company. I think one of the greatest things about my parents is I have two sisters, one older, one younger, and all three of us did totally drastically different things. Very kind of risk-taking, which was anti what my parents were about. But the greatest thing that my parents did was give us the ability to go off and do what we wanted to do and not try to make us become what they were. So me growing up, I had a lot of entrepreneurial tendencies. It wasn't a thing to be an entrepreneur, at least in my community, my friends, my family, everybody had a job. I just kind of did these things on my own on the side, from baseball cards, and every week we would go. I remember I'm 11, 12, 13 years old, going to baseball card trade shows. My parents would drive me like an hour out of the city, and I'm negotiating with 40, 50-year-olds over 10 cents over a baseball card. Kind of cutting my teeth on negotiating skills back then. And my parents, they kind of liked baseball. They weren't into baseball cards or entrepreneurship, but they did this because they saw an interest that their son was into, and so we went off and did it. And so that's how I kind of got started. A lot of garage sales and baseball card shows and that kind of stuff, just building it up. I still thought I wanted to be a banker. In my high school yearbook, when they asked you where you're going to be in 10 years when you graduate, mine said VP at a bank in 10 years. Entrepreneurship wasn't also very popular at the time. What year is it? I'm 38 now. So you go back 20 years, entrepreneurship wasn't the thing everybody wanted to do. And so I had a lot of tendencies and tried a lot of mini businesses on my own just because I had a call to it. And I was fortunate enough that in university I connected with two entrepreneurs, and we started our first kind of real business that eventually took off.
So that was your software business?
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about that. How did that come about?
So I was at university, connected with two people who had started a business. They asked me to join and help. They were programmers and they wanted help on the business side.
Okay.
So doing partnerships, alliances, media. I sucked at the science. It was scientific software.
Yeah.
And science
biotech, was it?
Bioinformatics, so early stage drug discovery software.
Okay.
Biotech software. Science was my worst subject in school, and I dropped it as soon as I could. But there was this thing, I had a chance in my university career to go work at McKinsey Consulting and Merrill Lynch, which at the time were like my two dream companies. And getting paid six figures out of graduation and traveling around the world, and I felt like this is what I wanted to do. And at the same time, I had this startup opportunity with this biotech company where I was making $300 a month, but I'd have a significant piece of the company. And that was the toughest decision I ever had to make in my life. And I decided, you know what, I can come back and get a job later. It may not be with Merrill Lynch, it may not be that job, but I can get a job in the industry. This business, I don't know if I'll ever get the chance to do it again. So I had to give it a shot. I had to say yes. And I could deal with it failing. I could deal with it not working. I couldn't deal with not knowing. So that inspired me to go and say no to the jobs, take on the business, and never ended up having to have a job since.
Oh, and that's fascinating, isn't it? Because I think that's where you must have had the soul searching, you know, because when you've got the opportunity to work for your dream company, but you chose to take the less travelled route. That's the time when you really know that it's in your blood.
You know, I don't know how much of in the blood. For me, it was more the year before I had gone to Europe, and I was in France, and a girl came up to me asking for directions, and I had this map open, and in perfect French, she asked me how to get somewhere, and I thought she was cute, and I wanted to ask her out, and I was too afraid to ask her out, and you know, didn't twig like, here's this girl in perfect French asking me for directions, like something doesn't feel right. Long story short, I was too afraid, and I tried to take a picture of like the area just so I would remember it, and I put that picture up on my wall at my house when I was, I guess, 18 years old at that time. And every day I looked at that picture, and it was just a reminder to myself not to live with regret. I was too afraid to ask her out, and so I didn't, and that stuck with me, that I didn't, you know, take the chance because I was too afraid of failure. So looking at that, you know, picture on my wall every day was a reminder that the next time I'm afraid that I might regret not taking action, I have to go off and do that thing.
Right.
And so it came again up the next year with this business. I had to go off and do it. It may not work out. The odds are it's not going to work out. Most startups don't work, so I'm probably not going to work, but I don't want to live in regret the rest of my life. And so ever since 18 years old, that's been the framework for me. If I feel like I might regret it, and it's usually not the things that we do that we regret, it's things that we don't do. You know, so if I feel like I might regret not doing it, then I have to go off and do it, even if the most likely outcome is failure.
Yeah, well, failure can often be a great educator, can't it?
100%. So
the thing that I'm going to pick up on there that's fascinating is the idea of having that picture on the wall that motivated you. The event that we ran yesterday in New York, I talked quite a lot about vision boards and about the way that you set your goals and so on. And there's various different ways of doing vision boards. Is that related to that at all? Have you got any other sort of strategies where you use that kind of motivation?
So I think the environment you have really matters. I think for entrepreneurs, we're not often in these giant towers and have these great views. Typically, when we're starting up our company, you know, it's your basement or your bedroom or an extra room. So the environment that you have though really makes a difference. And so why it's so powerful is you set it up once. Like that picture, I only had to put it up on my wall once, and it was a daily reminder. Because waking up every day can be hard to set yourself with the mindset that today has to be great, or today I'm going to go accomplish my dreams, or today I'm going to go after my vision. It can be hard to, even though it's not that much work, we typically don't do it. And so when you have an environment that automatically triggers it for you, then you only have to set it up once, and it triggers every time you go in. So I looked at that picture every day I looked at that picture. And then the next time I had the opportunity, I had to go off and do the thing, even though it was not the smartest thing to do. All my friends are like, what are you doing? This is stupid. Like, we all want these jobs too. Go take that job instead of $300 a month. And even now, if you see my office at where I work, I've got 5 different pictures on my wall.
Okay.
And they're not of aspirational things. They're not of like, I want to have this car or this jet or anything. It's more reminding me of the person that I aspire to be. And so I've got my parents on the wall. They taught me, core values of how to be a human being. I've got my favorite entrepreneur on the wall, A.P. Giannini. I've got Steve Jobs. I've got Howard Schultz. I've got Kanye West. And they all mean different things to me. And so when I walk into my office, they're all looking at me. They may not mean anything to you walking in, but to me, like, that means something. And so you set it up once, and then it's that trigger that every day you look at, it's the reminder. Because I think entrepreneurs, we ride a roller coaster. Some days we're on fire and things are amazing and we believe in ourselves. We're ready to go off and change the world and do these great things. And then the next day you wake up and where is that energy? Like, what happened? You're back to square one. And so having the environment and the triggers and the routines that set you up every day for success makes a big difference.
I think that's interesting to hear you say that, because I think one of the things that I admire about you when I see your YouTube channel and every day you're posting and your energy is always there.
Yeah.
And I think we talk to lots of entrepreneurs and we sort of help motivate lots of entrepreneurs. and it's not very often that people talk openly about the down days, of which we all have. It's stressful being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to hear you say that you use your imagery. Is there any other advice that you'd be able to give to entrepreneurs that for the days where they wake up and they think, is this really worth it?
Yeah. I think, first of all, whoever you look up to and respect, they're all humans too. And like I wake up and I'm tired and I have, lines on my face from the bed sheets, and it's like, I don't wake up and like, yes, Wednesday, woo! Like,
I bet you do some days.
Very rarely, right? It's like, I mean, you guys, so I'm pumped, but most days, that's not how I wake up. I think the two things that help are your environment and your habits. So the environment we talked about, like whatever your office setup is or your bedroom setup, like design it so that it is awesome for you. And then it's the habits. What is the thing that gets you feeling bold and unstoppable and confident every morning? Mm-hmm. And we've all felt that. You have felt boldness, you have felt courageousness, you have felt unstoppable at some point in your life. What was the thing that led to that happening for you? Mm-hmm. And then put that into your morning routine in the first 15 minutes of waking up. So for me, I get inspired by being around successful entrepreneurs, and people who are leaders and visionaries and game changers. And so I wake up and I consume some form of content. It's usually one of the videos on my channel. Like I made my channel selfishly for myself because I want to be around Elon Musk and Oprah and Steve Jobs. Like I want more of that in my life. And so I wake up and I consume something, but for me it's not enough just to consume, I have to share. And so I then make a quick video for my Instagram that is my morning thought. And that's it, that's enough. Then from that 8, 9, 10 minutes, however long it takes to get all that out, I'm set and I go from being tired and lazy and not pumped up to then, let's go, like today's the day. And so it doesn't matter so much what I do, it's more for people watching. Everybody has felt bold and courageous at some point. Everybody has felt inspired at some point in their life. There's like no human who's like never felt inspired at all. What was the thing that helped you feel that inspired, and then do something like that every morning? And there's no judgment. Like if you need to wake up and go hug your cat naked on the balcony every morning and like say a prayer or something, like if that's the thing that gets you feeling like great, like go do that. And don't worry about the judgment other people have around your routines and traditions. And so that's what I do, but more important is people already know. Maybe it's watching a video, like maybe watching your content or listening to something that you guys are putting out is the thing that gets people all fired up. Great, like you have an archive, go back and watch other videos and find other people that inspire you so that you start your day with intention. So the physical environment, super important, and then the habits, like how you start your day. Don't wake up like an accident. Make an important decision every day to do the thing that makes you feel bold and unstoppable.
That's awesome. So, one of the things I'm fascinated by is to-do lists.
Okay.
Every entrepreneur seems to have a different way of managing their actions for the day. So how does your to-do list work?
So for me, I like to schedule my days to have different things on different days. So Monday is my mentoring day, so I'm working with people on my team. That's the day when I'm not doing very much in my business. It's more helping coach and guide the people on my team. Tuesday is my YouTube day. So I'm researching the videos for my channel. I'm recording the videos for my channel. Wednesday is my project day. Thursday is my public-facing day. And so I have different things I do on different days. Okay. Why? One, switching costs are high. To switch from writing the book to doing an interview to back to writing the book, I find really taxing. Mm-hmm. And I think most people find it taxing, but for me it's like extra taxing. It's really hard for me to switch gears. I'm introverted by nature, which probably doesn't come out in stuff like this, but I like to stay in the zone on the thing that I'm working on. And then I also like to miss it. So Tuesdays are my YouTube filming days. We're filming this on a Wednesday, so yesterday was my filming day. By Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm gonna start to miss YouTube again. It's like, oh, I can't wait to get back. And so I start to miss it instead of feeling like you're in a grind daily. So all of my to-do lists fit into what I have to do on different days. Right? So Tuesday, I look at all my to-do lists for what am I doing for YouTube. Mm-hmm. And then it's always about prioritizing because the to-do list always grows. Yeah. Right? It's like then it becomes what is the most important thing. And as you build a business and as you build a team and as you get more customers, the to-do list only gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You think hiring a team reduces your to-do list, but it only expands it because now you got people to deal with. If you're a good leader, you don't just hire a monkey and then expect everything to be taken care of. You have to care about your people and your team. And so I find that really helps me with my schedule, is having different things for different days. And so I attack those things on that day and keep the distractions aside so that I can do the other projects on those days.
So what about the actual physical tool? Do you handwrite your to-do list? Do you use your phone, your laptop?
So for the constant stuff, the stuff that I know is regular, usually it's super simple, boring stuff. It's Google Calendar. Yeah. I'll block off the time, like this time to this time I'm working on this. Yeah. And then if I get ideas in between the weeks, so today is Wednesday. Tuesday is my YouTube day. If I get a YouTube idea, I'll email myself and then I'll just put it in a folder, my YouTube folder, so that I'll look at it on YouTube day, right? Instead of trying to dive too deep in it right now and get distracted. But if I don't write it down or send an email to myself, I'm gonna forget about it, right? And then it'll bother me. Yeah. So then I'll think about it all day long until I have my phone nearby and then send an email to myself. So Google Calendar for most things, and then just Gmail for thoughts that come up. And then between myself and my team, we use a lot of Evernote files just to go back and forth.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
But the tools can be subbed in and out, right?
Yeah.
Like whether you use Evernote or something else. I think often people get too locked in on the tools and they say, well, if I use Evernote, it's going to change things. It's like it's not the Evernote that's going to change things. It's you deciding that you're going to get a hold on your to-do list that will change things.
Awesome. So, tell me about Salsa.
Salsa's super fun. I started as an investor in a salsa business here in Canada, and now I'm the owner of it, and it's the largest salsa dance school probably in North America. I met my wife through it. I think it's good to have a hobby outside of just entrepreneurship, a form of expression and creativity, and so salsa is that for me. I've been doing it for over a decade. Over a decade, and tons of fun. Yeah,
and is it something you do every day? Is it, or is it
Depends on the week. Depends on what we're doing. When I travel, I try to find a local salsa club that I can go check out as well. We just came back from a cruise in Greece with my wife, and so we dance salsa at night, different places. Depends on the week. Depends what's going on. But if I don't do it enough, I start to miss it. So I gotta get back out.
It's something that I did want to sort of delve into a bit deeper because I've been involved in a few businesses myself that were my passion.
Okay.
So, for example, I used to have a supercar experience business.
Okay.
Now, I've always been a bit of a petrol head and I love supercars.
Okay.
But when I actually was running the business, it kind of took my passion away a bit from cars because when you're surrounded by them. I had a similar thing with a brewery. Okay. I like beer, but when you're working on something that is your passion. So, do you find that at all now that you own a salsa business? Does it take the shine off the actual enjoyment of the business?
I think with that, you got to figure out what you love about the business and try to stay there as much as possible. So I look at YouTube videos, for example. I love the idea of making YouTube videos. I think it's a great way to reach people. It's my absolute passion. I don't love editing the videos. Right. And when I did, it was really slow and I didn't like the process of it. And so like the first person I hired was an editor to get that off of my plate. And so if you're running a dance company or you're running a brewery or whatever it is that you're running, if you're not liking the business anymore, there's something that you're doing in the day-to-day that you're not enjoying anymore and you probably shouldn't be doing anymore. So like how do you hire somebody to do it? And if you can't yet, then at least work towards hiring somebody to do it. Like if you don't have the budget yet, okay, but I know I don't like doing this part in the business, so I need to work my way out of that so I can enjoy the company again. If you don't enjoy the process of what you're doing, you're gonna lose, right? If you don't enjoy doing interviews, like this show won't work, right? Like if I don't enjoy doing videos, my channel is not gonna work. If you're only chasing opportunity, you're gonna lose. You have to enjoy the process of the work that you're doing. I'm reminded of a quote by Martin Luther King. I'm reading a book on him right now. So, he fought for equality and equal rights, and he had just won the Nobel Peace Prize, and he's in Europe, and he's meeting all the kings and queens and pomp and circumstance, all of the awards, and he's like, I'm at the top of the mountain, and it's beautiful here in the mountain, but the valley calls to me.
Right.
It's like he wants to get back out on the streets and be spat at, and like that's what I feel for me. Like it's great hitting 1.5 million subscribers and whatever the next milestone is, but I like the daily. I forget to celebrate. We don't celebrate our milestones.
Right.
Because I like the work is celebration.
Yeah.
I like the process of doing what I'm doing. And so in the early stages of a startup, you don't always get that because you have to do everything, and there's a lot of stuff that you don't like in the business. But figuring out what you have the ability to be, Michael Jordan level talent at, and slowly spending more and more and more of your time there and less on the stuff that you hate in your company, that's when you ultimately start to win.
Awesome. So finally, Gareth and I at Blam are sort of always looking for ways to help the people we work with find ways of being accountable to their actions.
Okay.
Obviously, it's part of your program as well, accountability.
Yeah.
What advice would you give briefly to entrepreneurs about how to be accountable to their actions that are going to help them progress their business?
Be very careful about the goals that you set for yourself. And when you set a goal, you have to do it. And it starts with the night before. I think what most people do is they set an alarm for themselves and they wake up and the first thing they do is they hit the snooze button.
Yeah.
What is that? That is you setting a goal for yourself that I'm going to wake up at this time, and then you say, I'm not going to do that today. Like the very first thing you do every day is say, I'm not going to hit my goals. I'm not going to be accountable. And that destroys your self-respect. And so whenever you set a goal for yourself, you have to go off and do that thing. Even if you don't want to anymore, just because you said you were going to do it, you cannot wake up tomorrow at that time, but you have to get up today and do it. Because every time you do the thing and it's hard, that's when you build your self-respect. That's when you build credibility with yourself. If you set a goal and it's really easy, it doesn't mean anything to you. If you're running a race against 3-year-olds, great, you won. It doesn't feel like a victory, right? Getting up and brushing your teeth probably doesn't feel like a victory, so setting that as a goal is silly. So be very careful about the goals that you set for yourself and make sure that you do it, starting with waking up on time, whatever your alarm is, like spend an extra 20 minutes and like set, I'm gonna wake up at 7:20 instead of 7, but then 7:20, like get up and out of bed. Yeah. Accountable to other people is always very helpful. It's especially difficult as an entrepreneur because in a job, you're accountable to your boss. If you don't show up at 8 in the morning or 9 in the morning, you're going to get a talking to. As an entrepreneur, yes, we're accountable to our customers, but it's easy to slack. And so finding a peer group or finding someone to hold you accountable can be helpful. I find it more through the content that I make than an individual face-to-face. So what I mean by that is when I wake up and I see Elon Musk talking about having a backup plan for the planet, for humanity, I think, I gotta get to work. Like, I use that as a kick forward, right? Not kick down, not like, oh my God, he's so great and I suck, I'm never gonna do that. It's more like, wow, look at what's possible, and it holds me accountable to want to go off and do more. And so if you're surrounded by your heroes, it makes you want to do more with your life. It's especially important, I think, when you've achieved some kind of success, because the people around you, you might be the highest performer. So there's nobody around you to push you. Your friends and family might be saying, wow, you're doing so great, awesome. But then you get complacent. So it's always good to have a peer group that pushes you to go off and do more. And because I'm an introvert, I don't get it from face-to-face, I get it from online, right? And I find video the best for me, but some people love podcasts and some people love books. Yeah. Whatever the thing is, if you are around Elon Musk more, you would start thinking bigger. You would start taking bolder action. And so whoever that person is for you, trying to be around that person even virtually more can make a big difference to holding you accountable and making sure you're doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, that's awesome advice. Well, that's brilliant. Like I said, I am a little bit disappointed because I was half expecting the story about the French girl to come back round and say, and now she's my wife.
Oh, yeah. But here's the thing. So I mean, and I'm super happy with. So I have a wife now, and I met her through salsa dancing. But here's the thing. Like a lot of times, it doesn't work out. Yeah. Which I think is great, right? Like I think so often we when we're trying to encourage somebody else, is hey, go take that leap. Like go be an author. Go write that book. Go launch that business, right? And say, it's going to work out. Of course it's going to work out. We try to be encouraging. It's like, no, like it may not work out. Like you will suck at the beginning and it's probably going to fail. And it's still worth doing just to know, right? And so it's tying your self-respect to the effort, not the results. You may get results, it may be great, awesome, and it may totally flame out and burn out and that girl says no, or that business fails, or that book launch doesn't go anywhere, or your first YouTube video really sucks. But it's like the effort. Are you proud of the effort? Because if you are proud of the effort every day, you will get the results. If every day for the next year, people woke up and did the thing that made them feel bold and confident, and then took effort and were proud of it, when they slept at night, it's like, I'm proud of the effort that I put in today, like your life will be unrecognizable 1 year from today. So I like giving the reality punch too, like, listen, it's probably not gonna work out. Like you're probably gonna fall on your face. And it's totally worth doing, okay. Just to know, just to know.
No, I couldn't agree more. No. Awesome, Evan,
cool.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Appreciate your time, and look forward to seeing your content as it grows and grows. 2 million next. We won't celebrate it. Right. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
No, it was awesome.